Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cinco Squad. It is Thursday night. It's time for Thursday night football. The college football playoff is upon us. Bum, 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 bum. Dun, 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 bum, bum. I don't even. Is that the Thursday night football? That is. Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember if Prime changed it or not.
Yeah.
Anyway, my name is Mike, of course, with me, Grandpa Jay. John, still continuing to try to work Kevin Patullo's offense out of the Eagles. And it's pretty ingrained in them now.
I actually heard that he's made a visit to the Syracuse basketball facility right now. That lost to, was it Hofstra?
Yes.
Even though the refs did a horrible job on that call at the end of the game. He's not seeing enough effort out there, so he's having them run suicides nonstop until they puke. Every single one of them 10 times per practice. If you don't puke 10 times, you're not putting in that work. So word is that he still has them run suicides, and practice started at 3 p.m.
3 p.m. last week.
Yeah.
They've just been running suicides the whole time. Those poor men. He's going all Herb Brooks on them again.
Yeah.
Who do you play for? How's your day going? How are you feeling today, Grandpa Jay?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm excited about some great football this weekend.
Yes.
We turn our focus to CFP, and of course, probably the best game of the week right here. It's a treat that we have two teams tied records right now. The winner of this game most likely clinches possibly the number one seed in the NFC. So we're talking about right now playing for the bye right now. We thought it was going to be the Eagles that have a clear path. These two teams colliding once again. We know the Seahawks probably played their worst offensive game, at least Sam Darnold did last time they played. 4 picks, and they lose by 1, and they have a field goal to win it. So are you thinking that luck is on the Seahawks side tonight? Because they are the favorites right now.
No, I think luck and ability is going to be on the Rams side. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a close game up until the end, but I don't know. The Rams seem to have this weird dynamic this year where it's like they're really talented, and we know they probably should be one of, if not the best team in the NFC. I reserve, Eagles playing to their full capacity, still being probably the best overall team in the NFC.
No love for the Bears.
Not yet. Young, inexperienced. I think they will start to get the experience they need this year. And so watch out for them next year and the year after.
The Bengals are young and inexperienced when they made their run.
That's true. That's true. But Caleb's not Burrow. I'll say that.
I know that.
But I think it's weird because the Rams are one of the more talented teams in the NFC, if not the whole league, right? But they play like they're an underdog. Yeah. Like they should be losing every game, and they have to fight for everything, which is dangerous, especially come playoff time.
However, they are the second best rushing team. They are also one of 2 teams scoring 30 or more points this year. Surprisingly, both of these offenses, top 10 offenses, not much points predicted right now, 41.5. If I had to give you guys a little skimmy on something to get into right now and you're watching live, take the under in the first half. I called it in the NBA Cup. I said, take the Spurs in the first half, Knicks to win. Bada boom, bada bing. Take the under in this game, and I'm not giving you a winner. Take the under in the first half. Sorry,
not confident enough to give the winner here on this one.
No.
That's fair.
I don't know. No Devonta, and I feel like the offense is slightly more predictable in the red zone. It's Puka or who? Like they're gonna probably hand the ball up. They're gonna try some giving plays. They're involving more tight ends. Maybe they actually whip out more than little fade to Devonta in the back of the end zone. So maybe, Sean McVay and his team gets very creative here in the red zone tonight, and that might be the difference.
And the ball, let us not forget who it's being handed off to. A member of, dare I say, running back U?
Yeah.
The University of Notre Dame. That's right. Kyron Williams went to Notre Dame. Little Notre Dame shout out since I don't get to talk about them in the playoff. Side note.
Deep breath.
Deep breaths. Goosfraba. Anyway, give me a percentage chance. You said probably the winner of this is probably the number 1 seed in the NFC. The other one saddled with probably the number 1 wild card.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that, since that probable number 1 wild card is.
You guys how the playoffs are going to go for the Bucs. They're going to get the smackdown from the Seahawks or the Rams.
Yes, if we even make it, we
got to win this week. So.
That's true. That's the other big matchup going into the weekend. That we'll talk about that in a moment, because that could decide the division, honestly. But give me a percent chance in your head, just offhand, that we are tonight seeing the NFC Championship game. Ooh. The eventual NFC Championship game.
75%.
Really? Yeah. That much?
That much.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I was gonna put it more at like I mean, obviously, I've talked week on week on how confident I am that should the Eagles figure it out, that they'll make it.
Yep.
I was going to put it more on like 45%.
I feel like the Eagles are hoping the Seahawks lose this game.
They didn't want to.
I don't think they want to see the
have.
Rams.
No.
I don't think anybody wants to see the Rams. Devonta should be back by that point. Even if they rest him for the next 2 or 3 weeks. One would hope a month from now that he's going to be good to go.
Honestly, it might be better off just resting him for the rest of the regular season, simply because you're going to make the playoffs.
Even the wild card game.
Right.
Hey, take the month off.
Right. One way or another, you're going to make the playoffs, whether you're playing week 1 or week 2 of the playoffs. Exactly. Like, you better to have him healthy.
Yep.
So, man, you are real confident about this match.
I'm sold on both these teams. Like I said, I think both these teams have enough offensive power to contest the Eagles if their offense is clicking. And I feel like we've seen the Eagles play very either disciplined or non-disciplined games defensively. And if it happens to be one of those high emotional games, we kind of see these young guys still don't know how to keep that temperament in a sense. And then penalties will be the difference. And the Eagles seem to be on the negative side of that fence more than they have been on the positive side, where they're the ones that are taunting and getting other teams to lose their cool, which we kind of saw last year because nobody could stop anything the Eagles did last year. So defenses are like just frustrated. Not so the case this year. Like you said, John's still out there trying to figure out what's going on with the offense. So I feel we haven't seen enough consistency from the Eagles. The Raiders are definitely not a litmus test that makes me feel confident that they turn things around,
not necessarily.
Right? Like anybody's going to anybody is going to ball out on the Raiders right now and have been for the whole season. So I'm very high on both these teams. That's why I say 75% chance because, actually, no, because they won't get to meet unless the 6 or 7 wins.
Which is entirely possible.
The one would play.
Which is entirely possible.
So you're saying the Eagles are going to lose their first round game?
Well, you said the 6 or 7.
Right. So the 7 will be.
The 7 Bears will be,
So the Bears are out.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I think they're a little young.
Who's that 7? Green Bay?
Could be Green Bay. Could be San Fran. Could be Detroit.
It's a tricky situation for the Bears if they have that too. You're right.
That's the trouble is no matter what,
it could pan out.
They're going to.
I'm sticking with my 75%.
There you go.
Yes.
See, I'm trying
confidence is staying high.
Well, I'm trying to figure out how his opinion works. Make that make sense. So, Jay, you mentioned we got to the other side of we got good teams that are everything's looking up for them.
Yeah.
You mentioned a team and a player that things are not necessarily looking up for.
Not so much.
Recounting 2 weeks now of cryptic and not so cryptic comments from one Joe Burrow. I'm going to put you in this situation because I'm curious how you would react. You are the president of football operations, GM, what have you, decision maker, big decision maker within the Cincinnati Bengals organization. A, how are you reacting to Burrow's comments as far as are you getting ready to hit the panic button? And B, how do you keep him from requesting trade?
You can't, right? Because him and his agent are obviously always looking for other options out there. But I feel like the team did commit to get him his guys. The problem is that you have to build a championship team from the line outwards, not outwards, then back in, right? You got to really go out to in. You have to go in to out. So they got into it backwards, but he has all his weapons, right? Because Brown's had a really good year and he has the top 2 receivers. And you figure that I always forget his name, their third receiving option.
Oh, it's
Ascioli. I don't know how to pronounce it, right?
I don't.
Right. So he's proven to be a pretty good, option as their third option. So he has all the weapons he needs. I don't see any need for him to jump ship, other than the fact that if a Minnesota came knocking and they were like, "Hey, you have better options here, and we have a much better defense, and we play indoors, by the way, when it gets miserably cold, if that's why it's not too fun for you." So I feel as a team out there that can dangle a carrot and probably match and say, yeah, we're long-term and we're committed to you. Problem is that division is so competitive. It's less competitive than the current division he's in. So I think he has a harder time making it into the playoffs. And so in his mind, he's like, Patrick's out possibly next year, right? It seems like Josh is going to be pretty beat up after 2 years of being Superman. Lamar's kind of maybe on the cusp of that plateau in his prime until he could do something else. maybe we have a shot next year if you invest on the other side of the ball. So I'm sitting them down saying, look, what's fun look like to you? You want to go off to Paris for a month with your sweet boo thing, or you want to go to Cancun, or what do you want? Do we need to get you on one of those Aaron Rodgers ayahuasca treats? Like what kind of retreat, or what is it that we have to do here to help you refocus and find that fun enjoying the game again? And you're all in, and you're all in. When I say all in, you are all in with supporting that for him. Even if that means shutting him down and being like, do what you got to do right now, right? Get your mind off of football for a second and figure out what's going on with your life. But you can't stop him from requesting the trade.
I have two teams in mind other than Minnesota, because I think Minnesota is a prime candidate. It's a great fit, prime candidate right now, that might give him a slightly better look than either of those divisions, either the one he's in or, the North, that also present interesting opportunities for the man. The Indianapolis Colts.
Very interesting opportunity.
Now, I think the Texans are now and Jags are now showing what they can be, which makes that division a much harder one to look at and to think that you can outright contend.
Tennessee's probably not competing.
No. Yeah. I mean, Cam Ward was talking this week about how he just hopes that the organization includes him in the head coaching search, like as far as his input, which I'm sure they will if they really think he's a franchise quarterback. But with this Colts team and the talent of Joe Burrow, you got to think that they have a chance to really contend. If not,
Joe Burrow has people to block for him. Oh my God.
Quentin Nelson, University of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Anyway, got to get my Notre Dame drops in when I can. I think that would be interesting. The other one is playing in front of us tonight. There needs to be an heir apparent to Mr. Stafford.
There does.
I'm not saying that I'm not saying Joe gets traded there to sit behind Stafford if Stafford plays next year. I'm thinking more if Joe leaves in, say, 2 years.
Well, I said the perfect scenario is for Stafford to win a Super Bowl and ride out into the sunset.
This year.
Be like, look, I'm just going to call it.
Right.
And then behind the works, they have that trade going, which you just spoke about, which is like, hey, we got to figure something out here.
And if I'm not mistaken, this is the year for them to make that trade. Because I believe they have the Falcons pick in the first round, which currently is set to either be 10 or 11.
Yeah, it's pretty high up there.
So,
and they have a couple backup QBs they could throw in that deal as well.
Right.
So
exactly. I mean, they have options, and you're probably gonna be able to get. I don't know. You could wait.
I think they would go ahead and give away this year's first round, next year's first
100%.
Next year's second round, and a quarterback.
And if you're the Bengals, if you're the Bengals, you're going to be bad. So you can actually use your first round pick on. Actually, you could probably get two really good players in the first round to build up your team, like you said, from the lines out, and still get a project quarterback to just see in the middle rounds. And wait till next year where it's supposed to be a much better, or 2 years from now when it's
or look towards one of the journeymen like Jacoby Brissett hasn't played that bad. I don't know if Arizona's going to re-sign him for a year or not, but like, hey, have him come in and here's our starter for at least 8 weeks. So it could be I just don't see them throwing away a franchise quarterback just like that, given that they signed his.
No, it wouldn't. It would take a king's ransom. Exactly. No, and you're rebuilding. If you're trading Joe Burrow, you're rebuilding. And the problem is, if you're trading Joe Burrow, odds are you're trading Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Because if Jamar has any self-respect, he's going to be like, I'm not rebuilding.
Yeah.
You're going to send me somewhere. Send me straight
out to San Fran, and they're still going to be contenders with me.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
Yeah. It'd be fun.
It would be fun. It's a fun hypothetical, but if you're
we're just making the NFC West like the most legit division in football.
Hey, how about we put every all-pro player out west, and you know what? It benefits both of us.
It does,
because keep them out of the South, keep them out of the East,
keep them out of there.
You guys go fight amongst yourselves, and we'll be here to pick the scrap. We'll be over here.
One of you guys can make the playoffs, maybe 2, not 3, but 2.
We'll be over here picking the scraps. It's fine.
So you mentioned San Fran. So you really think the NFC West is going to get 3 in, which means that leaves 1 out of the NFC North.
Correct.
So Green Bay or Detroit's out.
Yeah, actually, it's tough. There's going to be, like we said on Tuesday, there's going to be at least one or two on good teams on both AFC and NFC sides that are going to miss the playoffs. I don't know, dude. Like, it's weird. Detroit feels like
and a potential 10+ win team in the AFC.
Correct.
The playoffs.
Correct. In the NFC, it's weird. Detroit feels so bipolar right now.
Well, we said all year long that they have been playing for 2 years now with Tom Trudy from Walmart and freaking James Dickerson from Target.
Hey, listen, they balled in their day.
As their freaking cover guys. Like, come on, right? So
they balled in their day, okay?
Yeah, all right? So we can't get them to show us what they really look like for 2 years now. And that sucks because we know they have the grit. We know they have the head coach that's going to guide them to that, hopefully to at least the Super Bowl to contend. And we know that they have all the pieces around them offensively to compete with anybody. They just don't look good trying to defend the ball. And it's not their fault. They just could not get their number ones to stay healthy. Yeah. And it's being, like we said, 2 seasons in a row now. Can't feel cheated.
Absolutely. And please don't take offense to this. They're like the Bucs, but better.
Yeah.
Or at least should be better.
Yep.
Bucs are still, they need the secondary, but they also are looking for a few other pieces. It really does feel like Detroit could win a Super Bowl if you got a competent secondary.
Yep.
A healthy secondary. Because look at Terrion Arnold, good corner when he's healthy. Brian Branch was the second, before he got hurt, was the guy.
Yep.
He was their second best defensive player on a defense that does include Aiden Hutchinson, who's the number one, but also like Jack Campbell. Jack Campbell's a very underrated linebacker.
Yep.
But yeah, and it's great because they control, we talk about winning in the trenches. They can win in the trenches still, right now. They can win at the second level right now. At the third level, into the secondary deep, they're getting destroyed.
Torched.
And I think Detroit's out. It sucks because I think...
I said so last week, so...
I think, and now I reflected more on it, right? Saw them play over the weekend and I don't know. I want to have confidence in them. I want to have confidence, obviously, in Man Campbell because he's a great coach. And I think he can rally the troops as much as possible. But like you said, when the troops are the reserve of the reserve.
The irony is, you lose both of your coordinators and it might just be Ben Johnson. We've seen it. We've seen coaches flirt in their first year with a lot of success. It's like, damn, that happened so quick because you go in there and says, hey, I know how to win. I want it to look this way. Can you do this? And if you do that, look at what I did with Detroit. Do this. And it worked. And it has been working. And we'll see whether or not they can get a playoff win or not.
And with the Ben Johnson thing and the Bears, right? You hope that it goes more in the way of from a defensive perspective, like a Rex Ryan with the Jets.
Yeah.
Where it just seems to work for a long time rather than a Josh McDaniels with the Rams.
Yes.
Or Raiders. Or anybody that's ever given Josh McDaniels the head coaching job.
Let's take it south for a little while here.
Okay.
So we're talking about elite teams playing on Thursday Night Football, not so elite teams playing in Carolina on Sunday.
Yes.
Now, here's the thing that works in our favor. We will play them again in the final week of the season, and that will be at home. So we know we're at least hosting an opportunity to go to the playoffs. Because even if we lose this game, if we beat them, I do think we have the tiebreaker based on in-conference record. I think we do. I'll have to take a look at that. Actually, they might have it now. No, by losing to New Orleans, I think New Orleans saved our ass. So I think
somehow.
I think that, and they would, of course, they would have to. I don't know if they'll have to lose next week. They may have to lose next week, or we may have to go in with the same records and winner takes all. Because I do think they have the tiebreaker. We'll fact check that.
Yeah.
But here's two teams that have been absolutely schizophrenic. Right, the Bucs started the year looking great, and then we know that injuries kind of played a huge role. I knew that they couldn't play their best football without some of our best guys offensively, and it was like Tez was doing whatever he could, and there just wasn't enough. And Baker really started to get a little bit shaky compared to how he looked before, where he was confident, finding his hole, keeping the ball. All of a sudden, it's like, I need to get the ball out of my hands. Like, no, you're doing a great job running and reading the defense. So we know they become a little more predictable, and then we've seen how that's kind of been their demise in the mid part of the season. So can we finish the year strong? Who knows? At least we know we have Carolina twice. On their side, they've been really competing, and they've been beating teams they shouldn't beat. They beat the Rams. They beat the Cowboys on the road. They had control of that game against the Saints, and the defense just gave up a horrible play, a horrible penalty to keep the drive alive, and they gave up a late touchdown to Olave, and the Saints, luckily for us, end up pulling that off. So we know that both teams aren't showing us enough to be like, we can actually predict the outcome of this game. The Bucs are going into the game as the favorites. And right now, you kind of have that feeling that, can you play any worse than you just played? Right? It's like you look like you've really given your absolute worst. They freaking gave that game away against Atlanta. Yeah. So at this point, it's like you can't do any worse than what you just did. So hopefully it's only up from here. Do you have that same feeling, or do you think right now we're just watching not an intentional tank, but this team really sinking, the ship sinking? I can't really see that.
Well, I 100%. This is the turning point. This game will decide your season.
Yep.
If you win, I think you, and it's the thing. We talk about how this could be for the division. No, this is for the division. If you win, you guys are going to win. If Carolina wins, they're going to win the division. Because I think beating the Bucs is the final step they need to really just ride momentum into the playoffs.
Yep.
It's that last stepping stone. Like, okay, we beat we beat the Rams. We competed, with the Saints. Tough loss, all that, but we're playing our best football. And this is the one team that's really in our way.
And he's never lost to the Panthers. Baker's never
lost to the Panthers?
Nope.
Does that
since he left Carolina?
I was going to say, does that include games in which he lost as a Panther? Which was a lot of them, even if he didn't play.
All right, so so we have 1, not looking good, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 NFC wins.
Okay.
Carolina has
the Panthers.
Panthers have. So they have 1.
Okay.
2, 3, because remember they beat the Packers as well.
Oh, jeez.
4.
Where's strength of schedule come into this?
They have 5 NFC wins as well.
Ooh.
So you might be right. This is the one.
This is it.
Right? So it might truly be winner takes all here.
Yeah. And I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't.
I know. We play the Dolphins next week, so we can't get another conference win.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the fact that the Bucs are currently trending down, the Panthers are currently trending up. I think it'll be a close matchup in the sense of I think the Bucs will do everything they can to stem the tide and try to stop it. I just don't.
It's a playoff game.
Right. I just don't know if there's
at the start of the season when I gave you that stat about it's a cycle and it's Carolina's year and here's why. Do you remember when I sent you that? Yeah. And they spoke about how it's aligned and based on patterns that this is where Carolina goes from last to winning the division, and then that also means getting to the Super Bowl, and the chances for them to get to the Super Bowl and the odds were 10 to win almost 1,000 or something, right? It was ridiculous. You remember I was sitting down here and saying as a joke, we should just throw $100 on them. Right now, I would actually be cheering for the damn Panthers this weekend if I get that. So thank goodness I didn't do that. But there was some crazy stat this guy put out there. He did a whole monologue on it about why the Panthers are going to win the NFC. And it sounded so crazy at the time. And it still sounds crazy. But can you imagine if they get it and they beat a Rams or Seahawks in the first round? Dude. That would be nuts.
You talk about momentum to ride through the playoffs. That's.
Of course, the next game might be against the Eagles, which would suck for them.
Yes.
But you beat one of those teams. It's like you said, we're riding momentum and seeing what we can do from here on out.
Well, that's the thing too. If you end up matched up with the Rams, you beat them.
Yep.
So it's very believable.
Yep.
To say that and Canellis can say I know, guys, we know we can beat these guys. We already did. So all we have to do, obviously, they're going to make it. The Rams are going to make adjustments based on that game, but we already know what worked, so we adjust with it. And is it the year?
It's the spice.
It's the spice.
Very spice.
Is it the year?
So you taking? You got Carolina?
Yeah, I got Carolina.
I can't go against my boys.
Well, of course not.
The Bucs win thanks to a Bryce Young turnover late in the game. Let's also remember Carolina beat the Falcons 30-0.
That's now. Who did the Falcons just beat?
Be quiet, young man.
Be quiet. We're on a podcast. This is the whole idea is not be quiet.
Another huge game we got is the Sunday night game this week. We got the Bears hosting the Packers, and the Bears are a 1.5 point favorite right now. That's juicy, isn't it?
With no Micah, I think the Bears are going to win.
You know, one thing we know about Green Bay players is the weather doesn't matter. Right? So it doesn't matter how nasty it is. And this does almost feel like, you know, they're sitting at 10-4, Green Bay sitting at 9-4-1. Here's another win and take full control of the division if you're the Bears right now.
Absolutely.
Right? You take that 2-game cushion and it kind of seems like you wrapped it up.
That's what I think they're going to, they're going to be sharks. They're going to smell blood in the water. No Mike means your best defensive player is out.
Which means a little more room for Caleb to scramble.
Correct. Mm-hmm. Make plays happen.
And his feet have served him pretty damn good this year.
Well, I mean, that's his number one skill, as we expected it to be, is that he is a playmaker. He's one of those guys of many quarterbacks that are able to do it now. Move around until a play opens up, make a play happen. And it's the matter of, do you have the accuracy to hit what still might be a tight window even when it opens up, which he's proven more often than not this year. He's had some mistakes, obviously, still a young quarterback, but he's proven that he's beginning to have that. He's beginning to be able to not only make the play open up, but then execute and, fulfill what the idea was, find a receiver, find the running back, what have you. So, yeah, I think Bears full control. I think they win this game by like a touchdown. And I think the Packers begin to panic slightly, especially if Detroit wins. Mm-hmm. If Detroit and San Fran both win, then we start getting
trouble. Can you imagine this Packers team missing the playoffs? It's like, what the hell? But that's how crazy the NFC is this year. So you're speaking about potential NFC championship matchup.
Yeah.
How about a possible AFC championship preview matchup between the Broncos and the Jags? Any shot that we see that?
That's tough. So enlighten me slightly. Where would Denver currently
the Jags have to win this game in order for Denver not to clinch the one seed.
The one. Okay.
So they're sitting at 10-4, Denver sitting at 12-2.
Okay. The Jags. So I think the Jags are going to be a wild card team.
Because
the Texans are going to win the division.
They're in control of the division. Right. Even if they lose this game, they're still in control of the division.
Correct. So that would still probably put the Jags as the number one wild card, right?
I still think they could win the division.
So I'm saying in my hypothetical situation where I think the Texans are winning the division.
They're either the 3 or the 5. That's what it seems like.
So,
right?
Okay. Yeah. So if they're the 5, they'd have
the Steelers.
Right. They'd play the Steelers, which they probably
Ravens, but we're saying Steelers.
Right. Who they'd probably beat.
Yep.
In which case.
And then that puts the Bills.
Yeah.
At the 6.
Yeah. If they make it.
No, the Bills have a foot in the door.
They have the foot in the door right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's looking like Bills, Texans, or Jags, Chargers, possibly in that order, and or Bills 6, Chargers 7. Right. And all 3 of those teams can beat the 2, 3, and 4.
Correct.
Because we're not super confident that the Jags or Texans are going to win at home. Nobody feels that great about the Pats.
Yeah.
And nobody feels good about the Steelers or Ravens.
Right. Whoever comes out of that.
Because Denver's kind of looking like they have their foot.
Yeah. I will say I'm going to give it a 10% chance that is the AFC Championship game. Because I will say this now. The Houston Texans will make the AFC Championship game this year. I think it's...
You heard it here first, folks, that we are not a Texas podcast, okay? We are not. We do not affiliate ourselves to any Texas teams.
The Texans are okay with us.
Yeah.
The other Texas team? No, sir. No. Anybody go back to past
this Super Bowl prediction. Do the Rockets and the Texans both make that conference championship this year?
Do the Rockets and Texans
do the 2 Houston teams, their basketball and football team, are they both going to at least that conference championship?
No. Okay. No, don't forget who I said is going to be the Western.
You said OKC and the Spurs.
Yes, which I'm going to stand pat on until I improve it.
I don't think people should sleep on the Lakers, but let's take the football. So we'll get back to the focus. I think it's like you. I'll go with about a 12% chance.
Yeah,
12.5%.
It's just AFC's got too many teams in the way.
Man. It's like the Wild Wild West
for both of them.
Yeah, it's really like Who the hell wants to win the AFC this year?
Right. And obviously, neither of us are saying 0%, because both of those teams are good enough to make it.
Yeah.
It's just there's a lot.
On a tear right now.
There's a lot of teams in the way of both of them.
If they could score on the Broncos and kind of show that this offense can get, like, they can really light it up against that defense, then I'm changing my tune where they're winning their division and they're going to be a dangerous team in the playoffs. Dangerous.
Oh,
they've been averaging 25 points a game for 5 games in a row now. Really? They are scoring the ball. Yep.
Wow. Okay, so we've got the NFL, right? And before we get to our predictions for the college football player, there is one thing I did want to ask you about, because I know it's been something you've been keeping tabs on. So we talked about Project B and the WNBA, right? Well, today, I don't know if you saw, the Players Association for the WNBA voted, I think nearly unanimously, that whenever the leadership calls for, of the leadership of the Players Association, the board of the Players Association calls for it, the players will strike.
Wow. Predictable.
Do you think it's predictable? But if that does happen, which it really sounds like it's going to, what kind of, I'm curious as like, what kind of an impact is that going to have? Is it going to be positive, negative? Like, I don't know what way it takes it, because it's such a precarious situation.
I don't think anybody can be pissed off with these women for trying to fight for a little more of the share, right? The revenue share. So it's not like they're making this great amount of money. Like we said, right? The league is keeping so much of that revenue, and they're probably trying to figure out, how do we not get top heavy? Meaning, we know we could revenue share, but how do we not allocate most of it to the top 10 players? Because that's really the 10 names that people speak about, right? So your Colliers and, of course, your Paige and Caitlin, thank you, and
Asia Wilson,
so,
Angel Reese.
Yeah, so you have about 10 names, so people are like, yeah, I know that name. Other than that, it's like, how do you say, well, yeah, this role player deserves to make 8 times more than what she's making right now, and rightfully so. I'm not saying that they don't deserve more money. It's just, how do you get smart about the revenue share, not seeming like it's out of hand for a player that is, average, to then make that amount, and all of a sudden they just get this huge, X amount on their contract. So I think you have to be careful how you go about doing that, because if you want to 10X the top players to make them millionaires, then you're saying that the 50,000 to 40,000 players are now making $500,000. That's a huge jump across the board for every franchise to all of a sudden be like, man, we have to doll out this money to keep. And WNBA play for a shortened season as well, right? They play a lot less games. So how do you even begin to follow with the idea? You have to let them play overseas. You have to give them. So what really may have to happen is you may have to now go into business like Liv did with the PGA and say, okay, when is your season? Here's our season. Let's not have them clash at all. So these women can benefit mutually from being in both of our leagues, and we can grow this together and make this an international game, which is what the NBA and the NFL is trying to do. And let's talk about relations internationally so we can really make this women's basketball game more global. That's the move. The players are doing the right thing. They're fighting for more. They have to do that. But that's the move that the WNBA should do right now.
So what you're saying is that the WNBA and Project B should do what PGA and Liv almost did, except for go the final step further and allow everyone to play everywhere.
Yep.
That might be the route to go for just the growth of the right. That's the problem. But see, and I am hoping that the WNBA executives recognize what's happening right now, because it's almost like if you don't do that, you're done.
Yeah, you burn the bridge.
Right. If you burn the bridge with the stars you have right now, this is the best chance you've ever had and will ever have.
A meteoric collapse.
Right.
Like you
the WNBA
see that thing just go boom.
The WNBA won't exist in 2 years. In 2 years. Project B will take over. It will be the number one. It will be the women's basketball league in the world. And the WNBA will honestly will cease to exist from a business standpoint.
Yep.
Which would be very sad to see, because they were we talked so much over the last year or two about how they finally were reaching that peak of, hey, we're getting super popular now. We have people that stars that everybody knows, like those top 10 stars. Mm-hmm. And we're really leaning into them with all the marketing and all the brand ambassador and, endorsements and sponsors and all that kind of stuff. And then the one thing you're not doing is paying them. And, it's business is business. I want to get paid.
Until it's not. And then it becomes, we need to be smart about how we discuss business, because these women aren't dumb. We can't play the dumb card with them. And they have another offer on the table now that we cannot in any way compete with. Mm-hmm. They're ready to throw $500,000 on them like that right now. Whoever, top stars, 1.5 is the number I was hearing. And that's the beginning.
Right.
Where is it going to evolve to when it does become more popular on an international scale, like we said?
Right. Once you really get the influx of merchandise and tickets and sponsorships and endorsements and advertisements and all that kind of thing, like every one of these leagues have grown with. And the WNBA, unfortunately for them, just isn't working fast enough for the way isn't growing fast enough for the way their players are growing.
Yep.
So, you might have to, don't stand on pride. Do not stand on pride and think that you can outdo this project B, because
you will not negotiate them, nor will you have a better plan, or your vision probably can't match theirs, because their vision has dollar bills attached to it.
Well, I was going to say, business is capital. Mm-hmm. They have more. It doesn't matter what you do; they have more capital than you do.
Yes, sir.
So, for the good of women's basketball, that the world is growing to love, please do the right thing. I actually do think a merger of some sort, where it doesn't have to be one league. It doesn't have to be like the NFL and AFL did, but not conflicting, but opposite schedules, so that they play all the time, because you get more fans that way. Exactly. Because you mean I can watch.
And then the WNBA doesn't have to now negotiate the international games. Let the Saudi League do that. So they go play games in China. They'll go play games in the Philippines. They'll go play games in Australia. They love the women. They love sports there. They love basketball. Let them have it.
Right. Plus, shared money.
Yep.
Because their capital can become your capital. Mm-hmm. And if their capital becomes your capital, suddenly you can afford to do a lot more things.
Damn right.
And everyone work together in peace and harmony. But it never works like that, does it?
Never.
No. Speaking of no peace and harmony.
Let's go straight to it.
It's time. It's upon us. The college football playoff is here, Jay. It is time to make our predictions. Obviously, we would have all picked the Notre Dame Fighting Irish to win a national championship had they been in the playoff. At least I would have. But we've got our actual matchups coming up. So let me pull up this here bracket and let us make our predictions. So first, tomorrow night, Friday night.
Friday
one
night,
game.
Sooner Bama ball.
Sooner Bama, seeded. They're very specific online also for the bracket. Like, hey, listen, it's not the it's the seedings, it's not the rankings.
Yep.
Okay. Number 9, Alabama. Shouldn't have gotten in. Against number 8, Oklahoma. Who do you got?
I got me the Sooners.
Boomer Sooner. We're on board. Sooner. All right. Bama shouldn't have gotten in.
And it's going to be a very, very John Sawyer type game where the teams may get to 16, first to 20 wins.
Yeah, honestly, it's going to be a grinder.
It's going to be a gritty game.
It's going to be a Gruden grinder, as they say. All right, number 12, James Madison at number 5, Oregon. Can we just
quack attack?
Yeah, quack attack. Like, come on.
If James Madison covers, that's a win for them. What's it at right now? 17.5.
21.
21.5. If they
not 2.5.
21.
21 flat.
If they come close to covering, meaning if they lose by 20, that's a victory for JMU.
Bravo. Yeah.
And nothing against JMU. Like we said, Oregon has been slept on. Oregon is a damn good football team. They have probably one of the more athletic quarterbacks. They have a room full of running backs that can burn you no matter who they give the ball to. And we know defensively that they've been able to compete. Even that game against Indiana had some late game heroics to take that one. And I think Oregon's just going to roll.
Yeah. No, we're 100% on board. Next up, the other one that I'm pretty sure we're 100% on board with, number 11, Tulane, and number 6, Ole Miss.
The waves will not be rolling in favor of the Tulane Green Wave machine. So, ladies and gentlemen, we shall say goodnight to Tulane and hello to Ole Miss. Ironically, both teams playing with interim head coaches.
Yes.
At this point, you guys thought that Ole Miss has a huge chip on their shoulder, and this might be actually not just a one-game run for them, but multiple games run in this playoff. So, hell yeah, Ole Miss to cover that 17.5, or did it move?
I know, it's still 17.5, yeah.
You know what? I think Tulane covers that. Ole Miss wins by 16.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm sorry very much. Apologies to Tulane. Ole Miss is pissed off now.
Horrible. It could be like 37-3 in no time.
Well, that's my thing is Ole Miss is pissed off now. Mm-hmm. Before, they were just feeling good about their season and how talented they were. Mm-hmm. Now they're feeling good about their season, how talented they are, and they're very angry. I can foresee them being very mad right now. So, yeah, no, Ole Miss is going to get the win here. We beat Notre Dame Bowl.
Pretty much.
It very much is. It's the two teams that beat Notre Dame at the beginning of the season. Number 10, Miami. Number 7, Texas A&M.
Aggies by at least 2 touchdowns.
See, so you think they are absolutely blowing it out of the water. Do you know what it's at right now?
What's it at?
3.5.
Yeah, I
for
think
A&M.
I think A&M goes up early. I think they've had their games where they've fallen asleep in the first half, and they know they can't afford to do that. Mm-hmm. Miami's way too talented on both sides of the ball. Now, Miami does have the speed to mess with them. I just feel like A&M's already got those games out the way, where it's like, okay, we can't come out of the gate. We're chugging along. I think they're going to look at their film and be like, okay, we did it against Texas. We did it against South Carolina. There's no way we can approach this game the same way. So I think they're going to script the first 15 different. I think the whole team is going to have a different energy. I know this team doesn't want to be a one-and-done team because they definitely don't want to be looked at as we were literally the SEC leading team all year long. But all of a sudden, it looks like Georgia's the best team because they go ahead and win the SEC and beat Bama. So we need to at least live up to somewhat of a reputation here where we can show you guys we can compete at a high level and not just be regular season champs. Or even though they weren't regular season champs, up there like the team to beat in the SEC. It seemed like.
This is what we should have been.
Yeah.
We should have been regular season champs. We should have won.
Yeah, and we should roll. We should have a bye, and no matter who we play first, we should roll on them. So I think they're going to come out and prove that their quarterback's a super talented kid. I feel like Beck, whether or not he can match the call, I think if A&M does go up early, that's going to force him to do too much, and I think that's why they end up winning.
And my honest thing is like, and I'm not just saying this because I'm frustrated about Notre Dame not making it over Miami and what have you, but it's the last 2 years have shown me Carson Beck was very overrated after his junior year. He's not actually that good.
Shane, we still love you. Don't worry.
Yeah. Shane, it's nothing on Miami. Obviously, I would have liked Notre Dame to get in, and what has Carson?
You can't pick Miami, can you?
No, outright I can't. No, A&M, and even if it wasn't Notre Dame that was involved in that, I still would think that A&M was going to roll Miami. I just think they are by far the better team. They are not the 7th best team in the country. No. They are a top 5 team talent wise. They proved it. They had the one slip up that cost them that spot, but I think A&M is the better team, and I like them as a team overall.
So you and I agree on every pick
so far.
All right,
that is our first round.
Yep.
And we'll see what happens in the second round.
Yeah, we can't
predict
until we know the matchups.
Until we know the matchups, we can't predict the rest of it. I've kind of already said halfway what I think the national championship is going to be. Go back and find it if you can. If not, stay tuned. We'll be revealing that as the bracket goes on. But Jay, before we get out of here, that is a high note of our weekend. Yeah. I would feel remiss if we did not mention an unfortunate low light earlier today. Greg Biffle, former NASCAR driver, along with his wife and 2 children, were unfortunately killed in a airplane accident, I believe in North Carolina. So I just, wanted to send, as representatives, obviously the whole squad wants to send their, heartfelt condolences, thoughts, prayers, all that with the Biffle family, everybody involved. There were 2 others that were involved in the crash as well that did tragically pass away. So out to not only the Biffle family, but the family and friends and loved ones of all those involved. It's a very sad story. I don't know if you want to
No, you said it. You said it best, man. It's always tough when that happens, especially around this type of year where people are looking forward to being with family and celebrating. So hopefully they can find some sort of peace there, over this weekend, and they can, through them being together, they can get through this together and grieve together. But it's never good timing. But man, you just don't like hearing these things around this time of year.
100%. Well, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. We will be back again next week where we will know who will be playing in the second round of the college football playoffs.
Please get a win, Tampa Bay. Please.
We may know
a win this weekend.
Some set seedings for the NFL. We may know more of what Joe Burrow thinks of the Cincinnati Bengals. Hopefully, I think the people of Cincinnati are probably hoping it's a positive thing. So stay tuned all weekend. The socials will be popping off with not only the NFL, the college football playoff, but everything going on. Maybe there'll be some MLB free agency signings.
And by the way, Kentucky St. John's this weekend.
Ooh,
yeah,
interesting.
Yep.
I did that. I feel like that's a prove it game for you guys.
Damn right,
honestly. So, I mean, you know what? Go Kentucky, because
thank you, Mike.
Not only do I want some good things for my brother here, but I want Kentucky to be good. I feel like college basketball is better when Kentucky's good.
Yes,
so long as they
better than North Carolina.
No, not better than North Carolina.
Yes.
I think we know who's
Absolutely.
better because we've already matched up against each other, and North Carolina won.
But we couldn't hit a shot for 10 minutes.
Jay,
anyway,
I actually realized something.
What's that?
I think this is our last episode in these confines. No, in these confines.
Oh, yes. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
You will no longer see this beautiful background here. It may look kind of
It
similar.
may look
but
similar.
It will not be the same. You will see a change of scenery here soon.
Yes.
From the squad. We'll be taking it over to Studio de Casa de Santo that you guys don't know yet.
No.
But
you will know. You don't know now, but you will. Stay tuned, everybody, and thank you. We'll see you next time.
And if we don't see you guys, have a happy Christmas.
Have a happy Christmas.